Hi everyone, how's my family? God bless you. Merry Christmas. Yes, it's Christmas 2022. Praise God, we made it to through another year. I hope all of you are blessed and happy. If you're watching this super early, have so much fun later with your family. If you're watching this later and you've already opened gifts and done your Christmas celebration, then I hope you had a wonderful time. So today we're going to make some of these fun little waterfall little notebooks for our journals. Okay. Now I have so many. You guys are probably going to laugh. I have so many made already because I have done this video. This will be the fourth time. The first three were just me and my screw-ups, okay? And then the second one, or the fourth one, was the phone died and I didn't know it. And so I lost the video. So anyway, it's all good. It's all good. I will have plenty of waterfall mini, notepads for my journals, which will be good in the long run, right? So all you're going to need today is some paper, your scissors, your paper cutters, some glue, some double-sided tape if you have it, because we're going to do a couple things with that. Some lace, fabric, washi tape, Tim Holtz fabric tape, whatever you want to use, because on these edges you can pretty much seal them with anything. You can use a stapler. We're going to do one with stapling, we're going to do one with sewing, and we're going to do one with gluing. And on these other ones, I had done a small one, and then I did some bigger ones. This time around, I'm tired. I'm like, okay, what kind do I want to do this time? Let's see. Let's go ahead and cut down some paper. I'm just using 8.5 by 11 normal copy size paper, okay? And I had I had copy dyed this and different dyeing I've done, so that's all this is. So let's see. I'm going to do one I'm going to make it, first of all, I'm going to trim off these ends because my ends here I'm seeing are kind of messed up. So we don't need to have that. And I'm going to take these and put them, actually, there we go. I'm going to put them in the trash. They're not really, well, I guess these are salvageable they're wide enough to do something with, for our scraps. We'll use them. I'm going to put them in my scrap bin. Okay. I'm trying to get into the habit of not tossing things. I tend to throw things away. I know, that's terrible, right? That is not done. You do not throw scraps away. I actually do quite often. At least with my coffee dyed papers, I have a tendency to, throw them away. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it. So my notebooks are going to be this way. Okay, so I'm going to trim my paper at, I think this first one I will do at about, I don't know, let's see, about 4 inches. Remember how wide your book is. You're going to take into account your width and height of your book, and that's going to be what you base how big you make your little flippy pad, your waterfall flip pad. I think that's what I'll call these because that's pretty much what they are. Now, on this one here, I still see I've got some jagged edge. So I'm just going to cut that down. Okay. So how many pages do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a little much. So I am going to go ahead and use 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do 5. Okay. All right. Now, this first one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure this so you guys know how actually wide it is. I left it at about 4 1/8. Okay. Just almost, right there on 4 1/8. So what I think I'll do is I'll make it my height. I'm going to do it at, I'm going to do it at 6. I am measuring this because I'm going to just make a little tick here so that I know where to fold. What was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah, you're going to be, gauging this on, like I said, the height and width of your journals. My journals are usually 8.5 high and about 6.5 wide. So I mean 5.5 wide. So I figure that as long as I keep it under, under 5, but this is, like 4 1/8. So that's not going to be too wide at all. I'm seeing where I'm uneven on my paper here, of course, even though I used a cutter. I want you to take note of that. I did use the cutter as you guys have told me to. And it's still uneven. I could see it. Anyway, so okay, so I'm gonna do it at about 1/2 inch. Look how uneven that is. Whoa, how did I even manage that? Honestly, you guys, I mean, I'm just saying, this is kind of ridiculous. I don't know how I do this. I'm going to try to even this out because that's annoying. Okay, so this side is the side that's it's flaring, okay? So we are going to attempt to get rid of that flare. Let's see if I can. Sheesh. I don't know, you guys. I do try. You saw me do it. And I still screw it up. I'm just going to redo this and hope I can get it even. I've got it pressed. See, my ends are not. That's part of the problem. Ugh. I think I'm better just cutting by hand. I really do. I try. I honestly do. It's so funny. I have one of you comment the other day that you're the same way as me, and it makes it even worse to try and do it in front of people. I can't even agree with you more. It's so stressful. Seriously, doing it on camera in front of you guys is an absolute miracle of the Lord, because it does make me a nervous wreck, honestly. Because, I tend to be hard on myself anyway and kind of a perfectionist. It's been really a challenge for me on the channel to just give myself room to make mistakes, Okay, so I think that's a little more even. I'm hoping. I'm just going to kind of break these up. I don't want all these papers to be the same. So, like I said, I'm going to do this one at about 1/2 inch. And I'm just holding this down and using that bottom paper as my fold. You can do this and make sure, I'm just holding it in there to the edge and making sure that way. I'm using that line to, okay. And now I'm going to do this one, kind of break up the colors. Okay. There we go. See? Still uneven. I don't know. Girl. Alright. I'll even it up when I'm done. I will just use my skizzies like I do. Alright. Okay. And una más. I may have made this a little bit wider than I should have. Oh no, let's see where this one lands. Yep, I did. I made it just a little bit, because technically this one should have been at the halfway point. Okay, so I'm going to trim this so it's not hanging over. Okay. Oh, great. So I messed it up. Oh, honey. Oh, Tara. Do you ever just wonder about yourself? I mean, I'm just being serious. I'm being real here. Do you? Because I do. Honestly, I do. Sometimes I go, what are you doing? What did you do? There. Now it's kind of hidden. There. I kind of fixed it. Okay. So these now, I think on this one, I am going to go ahead and sew it. Wow. This should not be like this, but because I measured this off, I should have given this less room, okay, than I did on my fold. So as you can see, this is how I've ended up doing this video four times, because I have just had a really hard time this morning doing this. I'm just going to staple, but I'm going to go from this side and I'm going to go in, and on this end one here, I'm going to fold, not fold it, but bend it in a little bit so that I can just not fight with it so much. Okay. Come down here about the same spot, and there, and then there you go. There's your first one. And now to do the top edge, I think I'll use this one here. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz tape. I'm just going to cut a piece down the edge here evenly. And I am still going to glue, even though this tape is sticky on the back, because I don't trust it. I'm just making sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And I'm just going to run some along this edge. And I'm putting it on the paper first because it anchors it, and that way it's just a little less messy for me. Trying to put it on the tape first is not easy. Okay. And of course, I am trying to get this as straight as I possibly can. Pretty good. And then this time you can just run it along your tape edge. I'm using Fabri-Tac. You can use art glitter, you know, any tape, or glue. Okay. You could even use double-sided tape if you need it, if you wanted to. And there's the first one. Okay. All right. Now, let's do. I'm going to grab a couple of different papers here. Just right here to the left, looking at my coffee dye papers. This one. This one. And then I think I'll use this one again, and all right. And what I'm going to just up for, or I'm going to use 5, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down evenly again. Ha! Evenly. She says, as she does it incorrectly. I'm going to attempt to do this evenly. Okay. All right. I don't think that went through all the way. There we go. And to make it better, I'm just gonna so on this one, I'm gonna do it a little bit longer. Okay. So, where's my ruler? I keep losing it because it's clear and I can't see it. Oopsie. Let me grab a drink of water here, guys. So, in the comments. I would love to hear about your Christmas and what you got, what gifts you got or what you gave. Did you spend time with family or did you volunteer and go out and help someone? I'm going to do this one at 6.5, so my height on it is going to be 6.5 high. Okay. And I'm using 5 pieces of paper. Now, because I am using, I'm making this one a little taller, and I also am using a little more paper, I am going to do what I should have done on the last one. I'm going to make this at about 1/2 inch, because the wider, or the more width you give here, the further down that middle one's going to fold, and as you saw before, it kind of messed me up. Okay, so got to keep that kind of stuff in mind with these. How am I so uneven? Ugh. Anyway, I don't know what I do that makes things so messed up. When it comes to measuring, I try so hard. I know there's going to be those of you who are like professional measurers, and you're going to be able to tell me what I'm doing wrong. So I'm sorry if I'm making anybody cringe like I'm making myself cringe when it comes to measuring. Look at that. Honestly, it's like my paper's like a totally different paper. Like it's like I didn't even cut those together right now, even though I know I did. We all know I did. You saw me do it. Somehow I'm sitting this on here really uneven, and I'm not sure how. It's like this one's the one that's messed up. Let me just make sure my fold is correct on this. You know what? Maybe it's my other end. Maybe this side is not the original edge or something. I don't know. It just, yeah, doesn't look right. Sorry, I'm being so complicated with this. Okay, I'll just have to trim. Anyways, yeah, but let me know what you guys did or where you went, who you spent time with. For me, it's Cordy and I, as you know, for right now. And we are going to do something a little different for us. I'm so excited because it's something that I used to do with my sister every year. We are going to go out to eat for Christmas. And in our town here in Coolidge, we have a little Chinese restaurant that's been, well, when we first moved here, it was totally closed down because of COVID. We moved here in April, end of April of 2020. And so, yeah, it was completely closed down. And then he just found out yesterday, when they did finally open back up, they only opened up for the outside. So you could walk up to the back door and place your order and pick it up, you know, but you couldn't eat inside. Well, he found out yesterday that they actually finally opened. I am really folding these wrong somehow, or crooked. I'm not sure how. The other ones turned out just fine. This one's looking worse than the first one. Anyway, but yeah, so he found out they are actually open for business on the inside. So we are going to go there for our Christmas dinner or lunch. They're open from like 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. And he called yesterday, and the lady's like, yeah, we're open on Christmas Day. And the reason that's fun for me is because my half-sister and I, Brenda, used to, when she came into my life, I was 13. And so I was, you know, a young teenager. She was 6 years older than me. And we would always hang out. And so at Christmas and Thanksgiving, by the afternoon, we would get bored. And so we would always go out for Chinese and then a movie. So to me, this is like, yay, tradition. I get to go to Chinese food for Christmas dinner. So I'm going to take this one. This one I'm going to sew. Okay, so I'm going to go right in the center there and just use my pokey tool. And I'm not going all the way through. Don't need a huge hole because this is just such a small signature. And then I'm going to go over about 1.5 inches, make it about 1 inch or so from the edge. And do it again here. I'm going to do a three stitch, and then I'm going to do the same over here. Okay. All right. There we go. Now, I'm going to get my thread, and all I'm using for this, I usually, okay, where's my needle? I sat it down a while ago. Here it is. I usually use like embroidery floss, or I even, yeah, here. I use this as well, just my crochet thread. But for this, because it's so tiny, I was using just regular sewing thread, and it's working great. I'm not measuring it. You know, you need, enough for it to go through 3 times. You'll see what I mean. 3 stitches in it. And so I didn't measure. You just give yourself a nice long piece. Okay. And then I'm doubling that up. I am hitting my papers over and over and messing them up. Okay. There we go. So now I want to make this so my thread knot is on the outside. So I'm going to go in through the outside in the middle hole, and then I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to leave myself enough to work with, and I'm just going to turn this over and go through the top holes. Okay. All right. And now this one, I'm just continuing to hold my thread, and I'm going to go down through the 3rd hole on the back part. So I'm skipping that middle hole completely. It's caught on here. Okay. And now when I come up through the center hole again, I'm just gonna, you want it to be on the other side of your thread. So like this side, this thread's over here. You want this one over here. Okay. So they're on opposite sides, and you pull it taut. And then I'm just gonna tie this into a knot. This is the fun part. Because I'm using regular thread, it's a little more, not slippery, but just not quite working with me as well. So just pull that taut, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a second one. And because this is going to be glued under something, okay, it's not really going to matter. It'll hold for you is my point. I'll do a 3rd one, just so we have it. Just so we know it's nice and secure. Okay. And just snip that off, and there you go. So now you're sewn together. Now on this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and see, does this piece, is it wide enough? Oh, it's almost perfect. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just trim a tiny bit of this side off, and yeah, I'm going to give this one a cover. Now you can do what I did on the last video that I lost, that ended up, deleting itself. I did a cover, and I did a backer. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we did the tracing paper, and I just thought tracing paper was a fun cover because it makes that nice rattling sound, and this one's coffee dyed, so it looks really grungy, But I took some cardstock on the back and made like a firm backer for the pad, and I can see from here it's very uneven, but you do not have to do that. You can just have, like on this one, you can just have the tracing paper, and then with either your washi tape, or you can use fabric, you can use whatever you want. See, so you don't have to, because what I'm going to do when I put mine into my notebook or into my journal is I'm going to hinge this, okay, into my book so that it'll flip up and down, so I can have like a pocket or whatever underneath in more decorative stuff. So for me, I'm not going to worry about whether or not it has a backer or not. But if you wanted one, it's easy enough to put one on. Okay, and the way I did this one, I glued my tracing paper to the cardstock, so that way you don't lose any of your writing space. Okay, and then the only spot that's glued down is this part. It's glued to the cardstock, so they're not really losing that writing space on this front page. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go ahead on this one, and I just want to do the tracing paper. So let me grab that, and I think, I don't know, let's see here. I may have to grab a new piece. Didn't want to, but I have a cut in this one here. So I'll grab one more piece of the paper here, and I'll just use this. All right, so all I'm going to do is bring it just over about a 1/2 inch or so, maybe even, yeah, more, yeah, a 1/2 inch is good. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this by using, here, just making sure that I get this on the edge. Oh, you know me. We're not trying to use the cutter this time. Not going to happen. No, no, no. Okay. There. All right. So I'm just going to go along the edge. And if I need to cut this again, I will. If I need to cut any extra off of it or whatever. Okay. So now I think I'll use this side, and I'm going to bring that to the edge there, and all I'm going to do is fold this part over, okay? And I'm going to stick a little bit of glue. I'm looking here and I'm making sure I get this even, because I think I'll probably end up trimming some of this, but we shall see. Now I'm going to go ahead and snip this thread off, because I've got, oh, I just cut that. Tara. Oh, Tara Renee, I do declare. I'm going to, this is just for me. You guys don't have to fix it like this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a little piece of Scotch tape right here. I just cut that thread. Not all of it, just a little tiny bit of it. So I'm just going to tape it down and trim this tape off. Do you guys laugh? You guys probably watch me because I give you something to laugh at. I'm just playing. It's true though, right? It is a little bit true. I'm kind of comical. Okay, so I think I folded this a little bit off, so I'm going to have some hanging over in the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put some glue here. Come on. I just used this. Should be working fine. There we go. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. There. And get that on there. All right. Okay, now trim where I have overage here, which I figured that I would. And then down here I have somehow gotten this uneven. Well, it was cut kind of haphazardly, I guess. So I'm just going to trim that tiny little bit of that paper off. All right, so there's our little cover. And now what I'm going to do is, let me see, I want to use, I think I'll use my tape, my washi tape. And I'm going to go with, I think I used this one last time. Let's do this one. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just trying to organize these so when I put them away, it'll be in the right spot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I do think I will glue this down, even though this tape is pretty strong. The stick on it is pretty good, but I do think I'll still use some glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit here on the front. Okay, about, you know, 1/2 inch or so where I want it to, because of the width of the tape, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. Okay, and then we're going to just make sure if you have writing on your tape that it's the right, you know, it's upright. Now I'm going to bring that down a little bit. There we go. And just trim this off so it's easier to work with. I'll even it out in a second. And then we're going to put some more here. Flip that over. Okay. And there we go. All right. So there's your little top part of your base of your little waterfall flippy pad. Now, with these, because they have the little cover on them, we can actually decorate. And what I did in this one was I used some of those vintage like sticker stamps that I have, and on this one I used a scripture reference, and I just distressed it, and instead of using glue on it, I used double-sided tape. Okay, so I think I'll do that again. I'm going to grab something in here out of my scripture references, and then I was thinking that maybe I would use one of these pretty pictures too for it. Let's see. Let's see. Let's use her. It'll be pretty, right? And we'll just do a little kind of collage on the front of the flippy pad. I think they're cute, and you can even, you know, you could cover these. You could put some lace up here. Like I did this one, I have ribbon. You could run, even I could run some lace here, and just to make it look, you know, more vintage and old, you know, old-fashioned. I'm looking for my distress ink. What did I do with that? It's here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah, so however you want to do it. Yeah, so Courtney gets today, today's Thursday, just so you guys know when I'm filming this. And so that's why I don't know yet what I've gotten for Christmas under the tree. I know, you know, I got the computer and stuff, but he does still have a couple of small gifts for me under the tree, so I'll let you know about those later. But anyway, yeah, so today's Thursday, so he gets tomorrow off and Monday. So I'm praying that it's paid, because his boss is a wonderful guy, but we've talked about it before. He's kind of all over the place, depending on what his needs are. He, you know, he'll do a lot of nice things for you, but at the same time, if he feels like he wants to save money that week, the rules kind of change. It's not like your typical, oh, we always get paid. If we work the day after the holiday, we get paid for it. Or we always get paid for holidays. But he's the kind of person who, if he's got the money, he'll pay you for not coming in on a rainy day just because he feels like it's not your fault that you couldn't work. But if he feels like he can't afford it, then you won't get paid. And you might, like with us, he kind of had us used to them getting paid, because he had told Courtney, you know, to me, that's just, you know, it's not your fault you couldn't work. It's raining, so I'm going to pay you. Well, we found out that's when he can afford it. So you just, my point is, you just kind of never know with Ron what he's going to do, because on Thanksgiving, he had told Courtney last year, if you work the day after the holiday, you get paid for it, right? Well, Courtney worked the day after Thanksgiving this year, and he didn't get paid for it. Then, you know, it's so we just never know with Ron. He gave them the 2 days off, but we have no idea if he is going to pay him for it. So we're kind of like, yay, thank you for the time off. But Courtney, you know, to him, he's like, look, I'd rather work and get paid than have a day off that I don't really need off. That's just him. He doesn't like to stay home a lot anyway. He loves to work. He's always been that way. Mostly because he gets bored just sitting at home, you know, watching television. He just gets bored. So to him, he's one of those people, and there's many of us like that who have to be working. Yeah. So for him, he's like, look, I would rather work and get paid than stay home and do nothing and not get paid. So there's that one. So we made, let's see, what was the other one we just did together? Yeah, we did this one, okay? So that's without a cover, and then this one is with a cover. These are the smaller, let me see here. I'm not gonna make a smaller one simply because I've got so many now that I don't need to make more. Here's a smaller one. Here's a short, fat one. Okay, so you guys can kind of get an idea. I used washi tape, I used Tim Holtz, I used ribbon as my topper. I used, the one has no backer, and then this one here has a backer. So yeah, you know, any way you want to do them. They're fun. They're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile, and they're great to use for your journals. You can have them floating and put them in pockets, you know, for them to pull out. So I think these little ones are really cute. So anyway, guys, I hope that you have a fabulous rest of your Christmas day. I love you so much. I hope you all know that. You guys mean the world to me. And thank you very much for spending time with me today. I know it's a special day, and if you actually watched my video today, God bless you. I love you. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our mask make, okay?